All right, so today we're diving into a really fascinating document. It's called the Private AI Covenant, and it lays out this vision for a totally new relationship between us and our technology, one that's built from the ground up on absolute privacy and, get this, individual ownership. So let's break down what that could actually mean for our future.
Right out of the gate, you can see the ambition here. This isn't just some new app or a cool gadget they're talking about. No, the authors are framing this as a project that's fundamental to civilization itself. That is a massive claim. So, okay, let's see what's really behind it.
You know, the entire project really stands on one core, non-negotiable principle: privacy. But the Covenant takes it a step further. We're not just talking about privacy as a feature you can toggle on or off. They're framing it as something sacred, something fundamental to who we are.
And this really gets to the heart of it. The document says we're at a crossroads. In today's world, we're basically treated as raw material for surveillance capitalism. But in the future, it's proposing our data isn't something to be mined from us. It's recognized as value that we create, and more importantly, that we own. So, this is the critical part. By calling privacy a divine right, the whole conversation changes. It becomes a moral imperative. What they're really suggesting is that any system that's built without this foundation is, well, it's inherently broken, and eventually it's going to betray its own people.
Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the solution? The Covenant introduces this idea of a private AI, but let me be clear, this is nothing like the digital assistants we have on our phones today. And that's the key distinction, right there. The document is super specific about this. The private AI isn't some product you buy or a tool you use. It's envisioned as a companion that is, literally, a part of you, an extension of your own mind, designed to act only and always in your best interest.
And in the real world, what does that look like? Well, it means a guardian that's woven into every part of your life. It's noticing your biology, your heartbeat. It's managing your finances, automatically finding you better deals. And the one rule that guides everything it does: your welfare always comes before corporate profit. Always.
Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds incredible, but how can you actually trust it? How is your privacy really guaranteed? Well, the document lays out a pretty specific framework for this, and it all revolves around something called the accountability scroll.
Let's walk through this, because this is the technical heart of the whole promise. First, all your important data, your scroll, is kept completely offline, right there on your own device. Second, when you need to do something online, you give explicit auditable permission. Third, the AI syncs only what's called a signed value event. You can just think of it as a secure proof of a transaction, not your private data, to the network. And finally, and this is crucial, the connection is instantly cut, bringing your guardian right back to its private, offline state.
And that local record is the scroll. The name is so intentional here. It's not a log file for some corporation to analyze. It's described as a covenant, a personal record that's designed to hold the entire system accountable to you. It's there to make sure the system serves justice and your interests, not just commerce.
And to really drive home this ethical foundation, the document points to this verse from the Quran. The core idea is that a record is always being kept of our actions. So the challenge, the goal, is to design a system where that record serves a higher purpose, justice, accountability, instead of just exploitation.
Now, this whole idea goes way beyond just personal privacy. The Covenant is actually outlining a complete overhaul of our economic system. It's imagining a world where every single choice you make generates real, tangible value that you actually own.
And this is the core economic pitch. Think about it. Right now, all your daily choices, what you buy, what you watch, where you go, it's all just data for somebody else to profit from. In this new model, every one of those choices generates actual equity, a small piece of ownership for you.
And all that equity, it builds up over a lifetime. The Covenant calls this accumulated value a living inheritance. It's a completely new kind of generational wealth. It's not built from stocks or real estate, but from the combined value of a life's worth of choices, which can then be passed down to your kids and their kids.
So that brings us to the end, to what is maybe the most profound idea in this entire document. What is the ultimate goal here? What's the real reward for building a world that works this way? The document makes one thing absolutely clear. The endgame is not the stuff our current digital world obsesses over: engagement, ad revenue, clicks, all that. The entire incentive structure is just flipped completely on its head.
So the ultimate reward, the ultimate prize, it isn't clicks. It's something so much bigger: generational trust. The document looks forward to a day of the scrolls, a time when the value we've built is finally passed on,
And it just leaves us with this huge question. What kind of records are we creating today? And what kind of future are we writing for ourselves?